Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Okay, friends, this episode is full of tips, full of really, really great information that I just want to prepare you now. Go ahead. If you have to pause this right now, go get a pen and a paper, or put it on your calendar to re-listen if you're walking or you're exercising right now. If you are a social seller, indirect selling, network marketing, and you're building a team, this episode is going to have so much value in it that you're going to make sure that you are free from distractions, if at all possible, and be able to really write down the information that this guest is going to share with you. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She is my Turquoise Talk guest. Her name is Juli Aldridge, and she and I met when I was with 31. They brought her in to help with leadership development programs and helping us with our teams, and just one of those people, when she talks, you listen. She doesn't waste time or words. Like, she is super focused and super passionate, as you will hear in this episode, about what we talk about in this episode, among other things. But she's just one of those people, when she talks, you listen. But she has been training and coaching direct sales leaders for over 3 decades. Like, you have to be passionate about it to do it for 3 decades. As the owner of Juli Aldridge LLC, she works with top-level leaders to build and support large, productive sales organizations. Large, productive. You can have a large sales organization and not be productive. She is all about productivity within your sales organization. She is best known for creating and executing leadership development programs and courses that have brought remarkable bottom-line results to the companies and leaders who have hired her and enrolled in her courses. Before launching her own company in 2022, Juli worked in the field with some of the world's most respected direct sales companies. 31 Gifts was how I met her, and previously led award-winning sales organizations at the top level of the compensation and career plan. I'm telling y'all, she knows her stuff. She is super passionate about it. And so get your pen and paper ready and get ready to have your business completely blessed by listening to Juli. So let's get to it. Well, welcome back, friends, to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. I am excited for this series that I've been doing over the last few episodes on direct selling, social selling, network marketing, and just really helping you to prepare for the season that you're in. This is our busiest time of the year. And so I'm excited to bring on a Turquoise Talk guest today, Miss Juli Aldridge. And we are going to be talking about all the things mompreneur life, but also going to be sharing some tips with you today to help you set up your new consultant. So if you remember back a few episodes, I talked about being a sponsoring superhero, and I talked about Superman and Lois Lane and how Superman kind of goes in and swoops her up and rescues her, but we don't want to just drop her in mid-flight. So Juli is the perfect person to come on and kind of help us with that. So we're going to get into that a little later. But Juli, thank you so much for coming on the show and being willing to have this discussion with me.
Thanks, Martine. Really glad to be here with you today.
Awesome. So for those that don't know who Juli Aldridge is, how about give us a little bit of information about you, your family, and why you decided to become a mompreneur?
Okay, I love that question because I think deciding to become a mompreneur is probably one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. And it's funny because when I think about it, I didn't choose direct sales and being mompreneur. I feel like it chose me. It's just kind of funny when you think about it. When I got started, I was kind of in a situation in my life where my husband and I literally did not have two nickels to rub together. This was one of the times where I was taking a calculator to the grocery store because I knew I only had so much money, and I would tally everything up before I put it in my cart. So we were definitely in need of income. I was a stay-at-home mom. That was our choice, that I would stay home and raise the kids. And so this is how direct sales found me. I attended a party, and I was really low self-esteem, Martine, and you know me, so it's probably hard for you to even think about the fact that I can't believe that Juli Aldridge, had a low self-esteem, but that's where I was in my life. So,
right.
I attended this party, and it was all these women from church. They were all doctors' wives and things like that. And so I was intimidated around this group of people, but loved the party, loved that whole direct sales experience. I think it was like my very first party that I ever attended. And the consultant that was doing the presentation, she said, "Watch what I do and picture yourself in my shoes." Well, I'm one of those people that does what I'm told. So that's exactly what I did. I watched her, and the whole time I'm watching her, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like she's having a great time. And she just made it look enjoyable. And I thought, gosh, I could do that. And the whole time she's doing the presentation, I was thinking, oh my gosh, if I just had an extra $100 per month, I wouldn't have to take my calculator to the grocery store. So it was perfect for me. So here's the thing. After the presentation, Martine, everybody was kind of lined up, and she was doing everybody's orders, and she was asking people, if they wanted to book a party or if they wanted information about the business. And so I'm just kind of standing in line listening to all of this. And so then I get up to her, and at this point, I had already decided that I totally wanted to start selling for this company. But when she asked me, hey, would you like some information? Everybody was kind of standing around, and I didn't want people to think that I needed the money, because I was intimidated by them. So when she asked me, I said, I would never do what you're doing. Like, wow. I can't believe that those words, so it was more than just a no or a no, thank you. It was like, absolutely not. And she's like, that's okay. And so she gave me probably like a little recruiting brochure.
Right.
And thanked me. And, I walked out the door thinking, gosh, Juli, why did you just do that? But it was my self-esteem. I didn't want people to know what my situation was. And I must have at the time thought that only hard up people did direct sales or something. I don't know. But I sat in my car. I looked through that entire brochure, and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be perfect for me. I could work it around my family. So the next day, the phone rings, and it was her. And I have to tell you, and I think that this is a message that everybody should really hear, is she called me the next day. And the first thought in my mind was, I felt so special. Like, I was just like, oh, she called me. Like, I was like, she likes me, right. So it just made me feel great. And, she said, Juli, I just wanted to thank you for coming to the party, yesterday. I want to thank you for your order. And that meant the world to me, because I had to scrape up $10 to, right. to place an order.
Right.
And then she said, I know I mentioned the business opportunity to you, and you said no, but I just really felt drawn to touch base with you and offer it to you again today. And I said, I'm ready to get started.
Wow.
And so, the message is, I think so many times, and you've talked about this on your podcast, Martine, so many times people are afraid to offer because they're worried about what somebody is going to think about them, or they're afraid of being perceived as being pushy. I didn't feel like she was pushy. She made me feel special. Wow. And she forever changed my entire life. I am where I am today because of that. And so, that's why I say direct sales found me. It was just the perfect opportunity. And I think everybody out there who is, afraid to share what you love, I guarantee you there's somebody at every single party you do that is a Juli Aldridge. Yeah. And, I went on I became a leader in my very first month of business, and I promoted a leader in my very first month of business. Right. And, I built a business up, to the top of the career plan, and, sold for 21 years before I started working for direct sales companies and then starting my own company. And this is all because somebody cared enough about me to ask. Like, she cared more about me than she cared about the no, right?
Right. Or what she was going to say or how she was going to sound, when you're 100% focused on how what you have to say is going to impact someone else, and potentially be life-changing like it was for you and it was for me. Like, I'm so thankful that someone was willing to probably be uncomfortable, and share that. And it forever changed my life. And so when you think about all those years and when you started, what's the one thing that you wish you would have known before you started your business? Like, what was the mess before the success, right? Like, we're seeing, like you said, the confident woman now, but I'm sure there were some messes along the way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes. There's a lot of messes along the way. And I laugh because I think you just have to laugh. It's, for me, definitely the mess before the success is, quite honestly, I'm not the one in control, Martine, like God is, right? And I am such a highly structured and organized person, which, is a really good skill to have, but it can work against you, definitely. Because, I think sometimes if you're highly structured and organized, you think, okay, this is the way the business is supposed to be. I do this, I get that result. This happens, that happens. Like you fit the business into this box. And I didn't like it if things weren't happening the way that I thought that they should. So my mess was trying to control the outcome. And that was completely exhausting. So I wish that I would have learned early on to just let go of the control, just to, this was like my turning point, right? Just to trust and wait. I had to learn that it wasn't about me. It wasn't about my success. It wasn't about making money. It was about making a difference for other people, which ended up, of course, making a difference for me. But my mess was I had to be in control of everything. And so when I finally learned to relinquish that control, then that's when the success came.
Being other people focused.
Absolutely.
That was Zig Ziglar's quote, you can have anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. That was a constant quote, and still is for me today when I think about the people that I serve now too, it's a win-win for both of us. When you're helping someone else, it's a win. It's helping you grow your business as well. So I love that. I like structure too. I thrive in structure, but I can also be kind of go with the flow. But I love that you shared that, because I know there's a lot of people that are listening right now and they struggle with that. They're like, it's not happening in the time that I wanted it to happen, or, it's supposed to look like this or look like her business, or, we're supposed to have the exact same. And that's the beauty, I think, of direct sales, is you can build the business that fits you and your personality. Yes, they're tried and true methods, and we're going to talk about some of those, but you get to be Juli, and I get to be Martine, and the next person gets to be them. And for us as their leader to really help them to harness what those strengths are to build the business that they want and build the life that they want eventually. So, okay. So I always like to ask this question because I know that it shows up for people in different ways and people deal with it. But burnout is something that I'm very passionate about helping mompreneurs either prevent, or if they're in the middle of a burnout, kind of help them to work out the burnout. So have you ever experienced burnout is the first question. And the second is, if you have, how did it show up in your life and what did you do to kind of work your way out of it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I honestly don't think I've ever experienced burnout. I know that that's actually weird to say that, but I think because I've always enjoyed what I do, the burnout hasn't come, because I've never really felt like what I'm doing is work. I guess, you know, how you like when you work from your passion place, you work from your happy place, like it doesn't feel like you're working. And so I think, you know, to follow your passion, there's risks involved, right, Martine? I mean, sometimes you've got to let go of something. I heard you say something in one of your podcasts. You said sometimes you've got to slow down so you can speed up.
Right.
You know, so, you know, sometimes you've got to let go of things. There's always going to be risks involved, but when you're happy and you're enjoying what you're doing, it feels like something that you get to do versus something that you have to do. And so I think that's really helped me to avoid burnout. Is I found my passion and I'm really happy and I feel very blessed that I can say that.
That's awesome. And I would say too, probably the fact that you were so organized and you had your structure, did that help you? This is another question. Did that help you to be able to say no? Because that's where the mom guilt comes in, is, you know, saying yes to a lot of things that the business requires, but then you're having to say no to somebody, you know, and we don't like to hear that word. We don't like to say that word, but being organized and structured, did you have those healthy boundaries like already set up, or did you learn to set healthy boundaries along the journey? Like, can you share a little bit about being able to say no to things so that you were staying passionate? Because I think you lose your passion when you're saying yes to everything. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree 100%. And I had a really great mentor in this business. And she taught me early on the boundaries in the business, which of course was perfect for me, Martine, because I am so structured. So it did, you know, it did definitely work for me. But I think, you know, the biggest thing was the boundaries of having set office hours. I had literally, you know, I was the national executive director of a very large organization, and I still worked Monday through Thursday. You know, I literally did not take a phone call, answer a text message, a voice message, anything Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday was family fun day. And my family knew that they could always count on me Fridays to have that time with them. So I didn't have the mom guilt because of that.
Right.
And Saturdays and Sundays is just where I enjoyed life. But when I worked Monday through Thursday, I busted it. And I was 1000% productive. Like I had to say no to the tasks that were busy work because I knew that I only had the 4 days to really focus on my business, you know, and I didn't respond to text messages and things like that at the dinner table or in the evenings when it was family or in the evenings when I was working. So it's hard to do at first to say, I can't do that, but you've got to say no to the busy work and the things that are robbing you of your precious time to say yes to your success.
Right. Well, and it sounds like you're very passionate about your business. You're very passionate about the work and the impact that you were having, and you loved what you were doing. So creating those systems and creating those hours as business hours, that is one of the things, the office hours that I hear when I'm coaching women. They just, they have not set those, you know, and so they're just working all throughout the day, and then they're working when they're not supposed to be working, when they're supposed to be with their families. So I love that you were very clear on, this is when I'm working and this is when I'm not working. So I hope whoever's listening will kind of evaluate, like if you are feeling like you're on a verge of a burnout or you're feeling overwhelmed, really check your expectations of yourself and also your boundaries so that you can be, you know, set up for success, and so that you don't lose your passion, because when you start burning out, you lose your passion for your business.
And you're not good for anybody. I mean, once you hit burnout phase, you're not good for anybody.
Right. Awesome. Okay. So I think we talked a little bit about your structure and your routines and, you know, how they set you up for success. And one of the things I wanted you to talk about here on the podcast to help those that are listening is setting up that new consultant for success. Like, what are some of the big points and the tips that you can share with someone who's listening, who we know is going to be sponsoring, recruiting, whatever y'all want to call that word, this season, and maybe they don't have a system for spending time with that new consulting and helping her to set her up for success. So what can you share with us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think your Superman analogy is perfect because, I think when we're sponsoring recruiting, it's something that can be really, really fun. Like there's almost that rush that comes with it, right, Martine? You're like, oh, I've got a new team member, and it's that expectancy. What are they going to be like? Are they going to be a go-getter? And I think a lot of times we feel like most people are going to be a go-getter right away when we first, first recruit them, right? And so there's that adrenaline rush that comes with a new recruit. But I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they're like, okay, I've got a new recruit. And then they practically drop them like a hot potato. The most important thing is what you do with them afterwards. I guess it would be equivalent to a woman having a baby. She's like, oh, it's exciting. I'm going through the pregnancy and, I've got this new baby. And then you don't do anything with the baby afterwards. Like you've got to care for it, right? If that baby is gonna, survive. And that's what it's like with your brand new team members. So one thing that I would encourage you to do is really check in on your mindset, because when you are sharing the business opportunity with somebody, I think back to when it was shared with me, it is all about them, right? So if you're out there and you're sharing the business opportunity because you're thinking to yourself, I only need 3 more recruits to earn an incentive trip, or I need 5 more recruits because then I'm going to get this national recognition or whatever it is. When it's about you, first of all, it's going to be more difficult to recruit. Secondly, the way you market the business opportunity, the words that you use are going to attract individuals with a minimum mentality. And what I mean is, like, you're selling the business in a way where, oh, try it. If you don't like it, you can always quit. Like, why would you plant that seed in somebody's brain? And then you're wondering, why are my new people like only around for a couple of weeks and they quit? Well, hello, you told them that, so it's, and that desperation language comes when you're in the mindset of it's all about you. So focus on it's all about them, because this is the best way for you to set them up for success. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind too, getting away from that whole desperation thing and the whole thing where it's all about you, is relationships are key in this business. And with a brand new team member, you want to make sure that you've got that as a foundation. Again, it's all about them, and it's all about having that conversation with them actually before they even enroll. I think a lot of times you meet somebody, they're interested in the business opportunity, and the first thing that you do is you say, okay, so let's go ahead and we'll get your kit ordered. Let's go ahead and get you enrolled. And I'm going to say, just pause and slow down a minute and take an opportunity to have a conversation with them, so that they can see how this business is going to fit in their life. There is no rush to get that kit ordered unless it's all about you and you're like, I need this recruit. You're going to have much better success. Actually, let me rephrase that. They are going to have much better success if you just slow down a little bit. If it was good for them, if it was good enough for them when you offered them the business opportunity and they said, yes, I'm interested, it's going to be good enough for them in 24 to 48 hours later. So what I suggest is have a brief conversation with them, just for the purpose of them to determine if this is a good fit for them. And if they're not willing to have a conversation with you, and I'm not talking a text conversation or a DM or anything like that. I am talking an actual voice-to-voice, heart-to-heart conversation. If they're not willing to do that before the kit is ordered, I'd consider that a red flag. Okay. The benefit, Martine, would be it builds the relationship. It's going to answer their questions. It's going to set them up for being able to onboard them. And really, I think the goal would be that they talk 80% of the time during this conversation, and you talk 20%. Because wouldn't you feel good, Martine, if you had just decided to get started with a direct sales company, and I was like, God, Martine, I'd really like to get to know you a little bit, and I just asked you some questions and let you talk? Wouldn't you feel like, oh God, this person cares about me?
She's genuinely interested. She's not just trying to recruit me on her team. She's generally trying to, because I think it is. It's really trying to help them to determine. The end goal is not necessarily just to recruit them, but to determine, is this a good fit for them? Right. And helping them kind of self-discover. And so if someone just say, you followed up and they don't want to do the phone call with you, and you're saying, I totally agree with what you're saying. If they're not willing to do that, then you're going to have to convince them all throughout their business to show up for different things. So I 100% agree with that. So what would you say to that person? Like if you're talking to somebody and she's like, I don't really want to get on the phone. How would you exit that politely, that relationship?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So if somebody said, no, I can't take the time, then I would say, okay, it sounds like you've got a lot going on right now. So when you're ready for us to connect, we'll go ahead and do that. And then we'll go ahead and get the kit ordered. I'm not going to go ahead and then just say, well, let's go ahead and order the kit. Again, I don't want to waste their time. And Martine, I sure as heck don't want to waste my time. We were talking about structure and focusing on the right tasks. If you want to be somebody that's got, 20, 30 people coming onto your team per month, you don't have time to, for people that don't, that they just
aren't business builders. Right. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, and I think the conversation can be just a great conversation, just, 15 minutes. I think the first thing is I would start out by saying, okay, so Martine, you sound like you're interested. And the first thing that I want to do, I want to get your questions answered, but really I want to find out a little bit about you. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your schedule. What do you do for work? That's going to help me put myself in your shoes, right? So that I can be more relatable to you. So I would really say that would be the first step in the conversation. And then next from there, I kind of affectionately refer to this as like the brainwash phase. What I would do is I would get the person thinking about everything that they like about the company. So Martine, so based on what we've talked about so far, and we've had some questions, I've gotten to know you. What are some of the things that you've heard about the company or that that you love? And so you would tell me and I'd say, okay, so what else? What else do you love? So what I'm trying to do here is build excitement and get them really thinking, oh my gosh, this would really be great for me. And if I didn't have this conversation with them, I would have never been able to bring them to the place where they really were excited, because they're never going to get parties booked on their calendar, or they're never going to reach out to get that first order unless they're feeling this in their heart a little bit. So that's why I want to be able to talk with them. So I think it's just one of those things that casual conversation is so helpful. And then, I'll go on to answer any other questions that they have. And this, I think also too, is where I'm going to close the deal with them, because even though they've said that they're interested, I don't necessarily feel like it's really a concrete thing until, I'm like, okay, so Martine, based on our conversation, I feel like you would be a really good fit for our company. Okay. So would you like to hear the next steps to getting started? And so then I'm getting your buy-in, right? And you're like, yes, I want to know those next steps. So I'm going to say, okay, so what we need to do is we're going to set up a couple of conversations, because I want to make sure that, I'm helping you start the right way. And then also we'll go ahead and get your kit ordered. So I want to get those conversations dated on the calendar so that I can touch base with them and guide them through an onboarding process. And Martine, how many times did you have somebody join your team and they joined really just because they wanted the discount?
Yeah. Too many I would like to admit to, it happens.
Yeah. And I think that's perfectly great, because how many national executive directors at the company that you sold for literally joined the business just because they wanted the kit. Right. So anybody who joins a direct sales company, they don't know what they don't know. Like they attended a party, whether it was virtual or it was in person, something about the product caught their attention. And in the back of their mind, they're going, gosh, I wonder if this would work for me. But they don't understand what they really have their hands on. They just really don't understand that. And so that's why I feel like it is important to have a conversation with them before the kit, before they order their kit, just to be able to start that relationship. But it's even more important when you go into the onboarding. And I want to talk about that just for a minute here. I've built an entire course around recruiting, around how to have a conversation with somebody. Actually, the course also includes how to attract the right kind of go-getter person to your team, right? And then it takes you through the entire onboarding process. And I think the biggest thing with onboarding is keeping it simple.
Oh, yeah.
Having a system in place so people don't fall through the cracks, so that there's not an inconsistency in the way you're starting your team members. Because if you do it in a consistent way, it builds a really phenomenal culture on your team.
Well, they also see that they can do, it's duplicatable. When there's a simple system, when they're thinking about sharing the opportunity, then they can say, okay, well, my leader has a simple system. I'm not going to be on my own. I'm going to be able to implement because this is what she took me through. So that's a really good point. I just want to make sure people heard that.
Well, and it's, even more so, Martine, if you were onboarding me, for example, and you went through like this process where I was feeling overwhelmed, I would think, oh my gosh, I can never recruit anybody because I would never be able to go through that process with them. So you actually hurt the recruiting culture that could happen on your team by doing that. So the more simple, the better. And, you build a relationship, you help the person get results, and they'll stay on your team. Relationships plus results equals retention. That's how people stick. That's how you build a large sales organization. Somebody joined because of their why or because they loved the product, but they stay in the business because of the relationship with you. And if you overwhelm them right away, they're going to freeze.
They're
going to freeze and they're not going to know what to do. Let's say, for example, for your business, you're building a great big business, and maybe you're somebody that does 4 virtual parties per week, for example, and that's easy for you. That system works for you. You've been doing it for a while. You're getting good results. And then you've got a brand new team member who joins your team. And you're like, okay, so here's what you want to do. You want to do these 4 virtual parties, blah, blah, blah. Like you have them doing all of this stuff right away in their first week or two. This is their testing period. They're taking this for a test drive. And if they're overwhelmed with all of the information you're dumping on them, they're out of there, sister. Like they're going to say, this is not for me. This is not what I signed up for. I thought this was just going to be something fun that I did on my free time. And you're bombarding me with all of these different things to do. It's more about helping them try it on, see if it's a good fit for them, and to experience little wins in their first 30 days. Their first little win would be getting their first order. Because once they get their first order, they're thinking, okay, I can do that. Versus giving them a long checklist of here's all the stuff that you have to do to do a virtual party. Now go do 10 of those in your first month. What's fun about that? Like, let me know I can collect an order. And I think another extremely important little win for them is getting paid in their very first pay period. Because even if that first paycheck is $5.76, what I see is, okay, I sold this much and I got this much. what would happen if I sold this much? And that, you've got to take those baby steps of those little wins, and you've got to help them experience success, because whatever they experience in their first month of business is what they're going to expect to experience the rest of their career. And if the first month they're bombarded with information that isn't necessary and they're feeling, again, overwhelmed, they're not going to do it. So here are 4 things they need to know, Martine. And if everybody would just, when you're working with your brand new team members, would focus on just 4 things, the rest is going to figure out in the end. The first thing is their why, right? They need to know what they're excited about. What do they love about the company? What do they love about the products? What would make them most excited to share? What is it they're wanting to get from the business? Okay. That's the first thing. Just talk with them about the why. And I'm sure that your company has several different things that you can use or they can use to help them determine their why. All companies have that. The next thing that they need to know is when. Okay. When are they going to fit this into the nooks and crannies of their life? When are they going to launch their business? When are they going to collect their first order? When are they going to attend maybe different trainings that are available? You're basically just finding the times and the things that will help them be productive. Okay. So why and when, they both start with W's. The next one is a W also, and that's who. And this is easy. The who is, oh my gosh, like, who are you going to share this company with? Who are you going to share the products with? Who are you going to share the opportunity to host with, or the business opportunity with? Helping them come up with who is going to help them launch in different social circles, the social circle in their neighborhood, at their work, at their church, who are those different social circles that are going to help the business branch out? It's not rocket science. Just help them with their who. And then the last thing is the what. The what is, what the heck are you going to say when you reach out to the who?
Everybody wants the words. Everybody wants the words to say. So I'm sure people are writing furiously.
The words.
I know. They're writing furiously listening to you talk.
Yeah, everybody wants the words to say. And here's what I'm going to say is, oh my gosh, stop worrying about the perfect words. Like, just be a normal person and reach out and talk to somebody, because everybody texts now, Martine. I don't know if it's because you feel like, oh my gosh, the words are so concrete because they're in writing, right? Because people aren't picking up the phone anymore to actually converse. And I think people have forgotten how to to talk.
Yes.
So it's just, here's the thing I'm going to tell you, and I mean this sincerely, is when you have it, when your mindset is, it's all about them. And your mindset is, this opportunity could change their life and they don't know what they don't know yet. And you're heart to heart with this person, the words are going to come like the natural, normal words, and they're going to be perfect because they're coming from you, because they're coming from your heart. So get the words out of your head and move them to your heart. And that's what the what is. And Martine, that's something that, if I was working with you as a new team member and I'm working with you on the who, okay, so who are you most excited to reach out to? And you're like, oh my gosh, I've got my friend Carrie that I really want to reach out to Carrie and share this with her. I would say, tell me a little bit about Carrie. And then you and I could talk through, hey, what do you think that you should say to her? What do you think will resonate with Carrie? That's what you should say, but not the cookie cutter words that 52 people on my team are all using the exact same words. And then I'm going to give those to you. And then you're upset because you're wondering why those didn't resonate with Carrie. And here she is. She's your best friend.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Just be a normal human. I love when you said that earlier.
Yeah. Just be normal. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. And so it's that simple. It's the 4 W's, the why, when, who, and what. And then from there, Martine, because they don't know what they don't know, as you continue to build this relationship with them, it's about casting vision for what's possible, and having a system in place that's simple, that's duplicatable. So even if you're a brand new person on my team that just recruited your very first consultant, you can do exactly what I just did with you, and you'll feel confident because it is so simple. And so these are some of the different things that I teach, the simplicity and the joy in onboarding so that it's an enjoyable experience for both of you. The casting vision is a huge part of it too, because if you're somebody that wants to build a large productive sales organization, you've got to promote leaders. And guess who your leaders are going to be? Your brand new team members. If you don't drop them like a hot potato, like you've got people that have been on your team for years and you're trying to motivate and influence them to be leaders. It's your new people, your newest people. And when you do it right and you keep it simple with them, that's how it's going to happen. That's exactly how it's going to happen.
And it trickles down, it trickles down again, because it is simple and not chaotic and confusing. Then it can trickle down and, like you said, kind of build that culture that this is what our team is about. We're about her and helping her make it, make her business what she wants it to be. And it's going to be simple and it's going to be something fun and not overwhelming. So I love that. And I know that, again, the listeners are writing copious amounts of notes on this. And thank you for sharing all of that information. It's so good. And if you haven't, maybe you're just started your business and you haven't even sponsored your first team member, like all of these episodes are perfect for you, because it's going to give you the confidence and it will become your favorite part. I've said that before. It will become one of your favorite parts of the business is being a part of someone else's success story. There's nothing like it. And there's nothing like the excitement of a new consultant. You said that earlier. So I love that. So I want to transition. Was there anything else you wanted to say before I transition us?
No, I think just one final thing that that I think of that resonates with me all the time is mindset is contagious. So whatever your mindset is, as you approach the recruiting and the onboarding and the supporting your team, it's going to be contagious amongst your team. So if you're doing it from the right mindset, your team will also. So it's that duplication process, right? What you think and feel as the leader of your team is going to think and feel. So
love that. Mindset is so important. I'm big on that. I talk about that a lot on here. They probably they hear that a lot here on this podcast. So it is where the behaviors are born. So okay, so just thinking of all the mompreneurs. So whether they're in direct selling, network marketing, or maybe they own an Etsy, a boutique on Etsy or something like that. If you could just really encourage, or if there was one thing you would want all the mompreneurs to know, what would you tell them?
You don't have to be perfect. Okay. Don't wait for the perfect timing. It's now is perfect. And if you're thinking it and you're feeling it, this is the time, right? So don't wait to attend the perfect training to learn how to recruit, or for the perfect time of year, or for the perfect sign up special that your company is having. Like, you don't have to be perfect. The timing doesn't have to be perfect. So I think that that's a huge thing. And, another thing is the message that I want to send is something that my mother taught me when I was in middle school. And it's a lesson that I carried with me my entire life. And she told me, Julie, someone's opinion of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
So stop worrying about what other people think. Okay. You think people are thinking that you're being pushy because you're offering the opportunity to book a party, or you're offering the business opportunity. You think they think you're being pushy when that's not what they're thinking at all. And what they think doesn't matter, because what they think should not affect your business in any way, shape, or form. Okay.
Right.
So I think
your intentions. Your intentions are pure and that you're wanting to help other people. And the other thing is, people are really not thinking about us as much as we think they are. They're really not, they're really not thinking about that Julie, how much can I think about Julie today and judge her and all of that. And she's not doing this and she's not, people really are not, they're more interested in themselves than they are you.
That's exactly right.
So I love that. Okay. So what are you most excited about right now in the season that you're in? Like, what do you have going on or I know you have lots of things going on. So share with the listeners, like what you're most excited about and what you got going on.
Yeah. So big things, Martine, you've known me for a little while and you know that I started out in direct sales, and I, carried a kit for 21 years and loved that. And then I worked for some of the world's largest direct sales companies, for about a dozen years, teaching, leaders how to build and grow large productive sales organizations. And then this year I launched my own training company. So that's the season that I'm in right now. I was corporate for a dozen years, and then I came to the point now where it was time to put my entrepreneurial hat back on. So I am just loving every single thing that's happening right now in this season. And right now there's some really big things happening at my company. So what we do is develop trainings, courses, and programs. And we have a variety of different ones to serve you based on where you are in your business. Okay. My company, it's Juli Aldridge, LLC. You'll find us online, julialdridge.com. You'll find me on social as well. And if you're the type of person that really you're on a plateau or you're looking to grow your team, particularly you want to promote leaders, or you've got a desire to really understand and wrap your head around the recruiting and the onboarding and placing somebody's feet on the path to leadership. Or if you're somebody that struggles with understanding how the numbers affect your business, or what are the things that you're supposed to do day to day. Like I mentioned, Martine, how I was very intentional about the time that I spent in my office.
Right.
These are the things that I teach in my courses. This is exactly what I did. Here's what I set aside. Here's how I set those office hours and communicated those office hours. This is exactly what I did when I was in my office. So all of the secrets that helped me build a large organization at the top of the career plan, and all of those secrets from the thousands of leaders that I coached and trained in the dozen years that I worked with those large direct sales companies, that's all the information that I pack into my courses. So really, we just peel back all the layers of the onion and expose everything. So what I try to do, what my goal is to save you time to help you really scale your business big so that you can avoid some of the pitfalls that I've seen so many people fall into, that I've fallen into myself.
Right.
I am the queen of mistakes. Let me tell you, Martine, if there's a mistake to be made, Julie's the one to do it. And so
because we learn from them. As long as we learn from them, it's okay.
I know. And that's the thing. You just keep failing forward, right? You make a mistake and you're like, okay, so where do I go from here? And you figure it out. So, I take these 32 years of experience that I've been doing it and passionately pack it into the training. So actually this week, I just launched, I'm doing something really special this week, Martine. So the timing is absolutely perfect, because two of my really big courses, I am actually bundling together. Okay. And so the viewers right now can get two of my big courses for the price of one.
Wow.
So the first course is the Strong Start Formula. And that's where I teach you how to recruit, how to attract the right people, how to go through the complete onboarding system. And beyond that, I give you that entire onboarding system. So everything that you need is completely built for you. And of course, it's simple. And so that's what that course is all about. Plus, it sets you up for success and you will promote more leaders because of it. And then the other course is called the 10-day reset. And this is a way, I don't care if you're a brand new consultant or you're somebody that's been doing this for 30 years, this course is perfect. It's like your base camp. Anybody that climbs a mountain, there's the base camp, right? And you've always got to come back to your base camp to fill yourself, to fill your cup so that you can go and continue to climb. That's what the 10-day reset is for.
I love that.
So it's for everybody at every level. So, I would say, make sure that you go to julialdridge.com. You can also connect with me through email. Feel free to email me at julie@julialdridge.com. And Martine, people may not know this, but Juli is Juli. I don't have an E on the end of my name. So if you're looking for me, make sure that you leave the E off of Juli. And awesome. It may actually even maybe in the course notes, I can give you a link or something like that, Martine, where people can go and learn more about my course.
Oh, yeah. We'll put all the links to all the things in the
Perfect.
show notes. So they don't have to type anything. They can just click it and
that's
go.
Excellent.
You can find her on social. You can find out all these amazing things. And you are just full of energy and you're so passionate about what you do. And after all these years, you're still passionate about it. And I think that's who I would want to learn from. So, I mean, if any of those courses or opportunities just sounded amazing to you, or I would really recommend and encourage you to go to her website, check all of it out, get signed up for it. And I know I've been blessed by learning from you when I was in the industry, and I will still be learning from you. You'll still be one of my go-to people when it comes to direct sales or just leadership. You're really great at teaching leadership. So I'm sure there's more coming down the pipeline for julialdridge.com. Is it .com?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot more on the website, a lot of other things that you offer, but I'm really excited about this for this season and where people are in their business. So the 10-day reset sounds amazing. I may have to go check that out myself. Okay. Well, this was fun.
Yes, I had a great time. I knew it was going to be fun because anything with you, Martine, is always fun. I have to say that.
I feel the same way. It's always fun to interview people that have the energy that you have and the knowledge. So, all right, I want to ask you just some rapid fire, like some of your favorite things before we kind of wrap this up. So, what is your favorite book right now?
Gosh, this has been a favorite of mine for so long. Like I need to get a new favorite, but there's actually two books. I love the book called The One Thing, written by Gary Keller. I think it is so great, especially if you feel like you're a squirrel and you're all over the place and you're busy and you're not getting anything done. That book is awesome. And then another one that I love too is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And man, if you need a mindset adjustment, that is the book. So those are two of my favorites.
I haven't read that one, so I'll have to add that one.
Martine, it's totally up your alley. Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have a favorite resource that you're using right now for your business or that you're helping other people use for their business, an app or any type of resource that you love?
Yeah. I live and die by Canva.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like
they just keep adding new features and and
it makes my life easy. Plus it's my guilty pleasure. Like I love playing around in Canva. Like I have to set an alarm on my phone because I'll get sucked into it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, Julie, look at all the time you just wasted.
On Canva. That's so funny. It's a good one though. Okay. Your favorite quote?
My favorite quote? Oh my gosh, Martine, I can't believe you just asked me that. I honestly think it's probably one of your favorites. It's that Zig Ziglar quote. If you help enough people get what they want, then, you'll get what you want. That's probably the one that's at the top of my mind the most.
Yeah. Yeah. Love him. Okay. What do you love to do? Last thing, just for you, like what's something that fills your cup? Besides Canva, you just
like my morning routine. Like my morning routine fills my cup.
Okay.
It's what I do. I set the alarm. I'm up every day. I don't care what day of the week it is. I'm up at the same time. I got the same routine. I always start with devotion, and I start with a cup of coffee. Let me just mention
right?
that.
Priorities.
Cup of coffee, devotion, and just that quiet, peaceful time, just listening, and being in that moment. And so that's the first hour of my morning. And then after that, if I don't exercise, I am a grouch. Like everybody in the house pays the price if I don't do that.
Right.
So, it's whether it's going out for a walk or getting on my bike or, something like that. So those are the ways that I take care of me.
I love that. Well, again, this was so fun, and we will put all the information in the episode show notes so you can connect with Juli. I highly recommend it. She's amazing, very inspirational. And of course, you just heard her amazing tips. So I know she's got more on her website too. So thank you for the time.
Thank you, Martine.
This was super fun. And I know we'll be staying in touch and following each other on social. And I just appreciate your time coming on the show today.
I appreciate you too very much, Martine.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you again for tuning in to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. I know that this episode is just going to bless you in your business. And you know that I'm always believing in you. Catch you on the next show.
Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link. Share this episode or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.